Hello and welcome to the LinkedIn Live. My name is Tommy. I'm the director of influencer at Zero to One. And today, in the next 15-20 minutes, we are going to go over how to build a profitable influencer campaign. We'll give it like 20-30 more seconds for people to join. If at any point you have questions, feel free to leave a comment, and either myself or someone from the team will respond. If you want me to go deeper into a specific area that I share about, just let me know. Happy to answer any questions. Okay, it's been a minute. Let's dive in. So the goal is that in the next 15-20 minutes, you understand how to build a profitable influencer campaign. So the first question is, what do we actually mean by an influencer campaign? Everybody, when you say influencer marketing, everyone has a different idea of what that means. All across LinkedIn, you'll see people advocating for their certain way of doing influencers, whether that's product seeding or partnerships or affiliate. And the truth is, all of them can work. All of them can be effective. It largely depends on your product, your margin, your brand, your marketing budget, your goals. All of them can be effective. Each of them just have a different risk profile, investment, return. And so to just quickly go through them, there's product seeding, the four common ones: product seeding, affiliate community, paid collaboration, and partnership. So product seeding, obviously low risk, minimal investment, unpredictable outcome, and then swing to the other side of the curve, a partnership, which would be maybe 6 months to a year partnership, high risk, large investment, a very measurable direct outcome that you're trying to achieve. And so, all of the best brands that are doing influencer marketing are doing all four of these. And so don't think of these as individual siloed tactics. Think of them as things that you implement at different stages. So for example, how you might start a partnership is with product seeding, because for a partnership, it's really important that the person you're partnering with loves your product. So you want just to get the product in their hands, see if they like it, see if they resonate with it. Another example is if somebody joins the affiliate community on a commission only basis, if they perform really well and it's a clear audience fit, you might move them to do a paid collaboration where they're getting a fee plus commission. So these all kind of exist on a sliding scale. Don't think of them as individual things. Think of them as different tactics that you can use at different points depending on what your goal is. So for the purposes of this live, we are going to focus on number 3, paid collaborations. And how we'll do this is we'll break it down by strategy and then tactics. So 80% of the next 15 minutes will be talking about the strategy. Because if you don't do that, then the tactics don't really matter. But the tactics are just very practical, and it's just process. So starting with strategy, the goal, the budget, and the forecast. So this is surprisingly something that's oftentimes missed with influencer. And I'm just going to give you or when building a paid performance campaign. And I'm just going to give you an example really practically of a brand, like how to do this for a brand. So, okay, first the goal. So with a paid campaign, there is a measurable goal that we are trying to achieve in terms of sales. In the case of this brand, so overview, this brand is launching 2 new products, price point $59.43. Their campaign objective, the goal, is a 1.2 ROAS on $50,000 of spend. So right there's the goal. That's important. You have to know that, because if you don't know that, then you actually don't know how to measure success, and you can't actually make informed decisions down the line. So 1.2 ROAS on a $50,000 budget, we need to generate $60,000 in sales from this influencer campaign. So in order to figure that out, we need to do some math. And this is the part that I feel like is missing a lot of times with influencer campaigns. We don't actually forecast out sales, and it becomes very ethereal with how much we should pay creators, how much we can expect to generate from them, and it doesn't need to be so. And so in order to save you from the ambiguity, do this. So very practically, it's like you would do with any other marketing channel. You have your budget, you have your sales target. We have our average order value of 51. So with those things, we need to generate 1,176 orders. Okay, so then you back into, if that's how many orders we need, how much traffic do we need to drive to the website in order to generate the number of orders and the sales? So you would get conversion rate data. So this could either be from past influencer campaigns for the brand. This could be for the brand's product page that you're going to be driving to. But you would basically take the conversion rate, the orders, and that would give you how much traffic you need to generate in order to generate $60,000 in sales. So once we have that, then we go number of creators. So this could be, if you have a $50,000 budget, you could do 5, you could do, for the purposes of this, we did 20. And so our average payout would be 2,500. And so we need each influencer to be generating almost 2,000 clicks for this campaign if we want to hit our targets. So this is really important because this actually gives us a metric that we are going to be negotiating rates from. So we take that, and we'll go over this a little bit in Media Mix, the Media Mix section. But when we're reaching out to influencers, we're asking them. So we're not just looking at their engagement rate or their followers. We're asking for Instagram story views and Instagram story link clicks. So link clicks is the way that we can kind of forecast or estimate how much traffic we can expect to drive to the website from this influencer. And so now if you have that, if you have traffic, you can reverse engineer into sales. So if this influencer is on average, and this is typically a range, but let's just say 550 clicks at a 5% conversion rate. Let's say we're going to be a little bit better than the current product page because these are warm leads that are going to be armed with a discount code. Let's just say 5%. We can expect 27.5 orders at an average order value of 51. So we can expect this influencer to generate about $1,400 in sales. So if the target ROAS is 1.2, and let's say when you reach out to the influencer, they say, okay, here are my rates, and their rates for the deliverables are $1,500. Well, that doesn't get us to our target ROAS. And so this is where you shouldn't be negotiating from influencer rates. You should be negotiating from the target ROAS and the expected sales forecast. And so this is actually really helpful, even in negotiating, because you want to work with influencers that actually think like this. So what I found is that when I actually bring this to them, say, hey, we have a ROAS target we're trying to hit, based on the data that you shared, here is the budget, let's say 1,200. It's almost getting us there. You want to be around, so like starting at $1,000 and then being okay with ending up at 1,200. But when you explain this process, you want to work with the influencers that understand that. Influencers that just give you the rate sheet and then it is what it is, that aren't thinking in terms of ROI. Those are the influencers you don't want to work with. So I've actually found this really helps and serves as, one, a good filter to see which influencers understand and want to work with you towards that goal. But then two, it's giving you a proper forecast to understand we need to be working with influencers that generate a certain amount of clicks at a rate that allows us to hit our target ROAS. I hope that's clear. If you have any questions around that, drop it in the comments and we'll follow up for sure. But this is probably the most important thing. Like if you don't take anything else from this, just building a simple calculator like this will at least provide clarity of how much you can afford to pay an influencer for the expected return, which is huge, especially in paid performance campaigns. Okay. So media mix. I touched on this, but the principle that we like to embody at 0 to 1 is walk before you run. So start small, test, look for signal, and then invest more when you actually find audience fit. So a good place to start is Instagram stories or YouTube. Primarily Instagram stories for a few reasons. One, it's the cheapest, it's the most cost effective. Two, it's the clearest direct response, piece of real estate on social media because of the link, and it can directly take to the website versus a reel versus a feed post versus TikTok. High visibility as far as views. And typical deliverables that we'll do is, obviously one of the cons is it has a 24-hour life cycle. Typically what we'll do there is we'll ask it to, for it to be a part of their highlights for a certain amount of time. But then we like to have basically two shots on goal. So the deliverables typically is a 3-slide story set, which is a video, and then a follow-up story like 2 to 5 days later is typically what we do for deliverables. YouTube has that same kind of direct response through link in the video, through descriptions, highly engaged audience. But essentially, Instagram stories are nice because you can test on a small scale before expanding into reels, which are more expensive, feed posts, newsletter integrations, podcasts, TikTok, things like that. So the lesson with the media mix to start is test, look for signal, and then scale. The offer, pretty obvious. Consider both the influencer and the audience when crafting an offer. What I mean by this is what the influencer is promoting to their audience. So it needs to be something that is both exclusive and incentivizing. So just be thoughtful, whether you're a brand or working with brands, that you want the influencer to be excited to bring the offer to their audience. So if you're offering them a, discount code or special that's also the same as the site, you're probably not going to be able to attribute that properly because there's no distinction and it's nothing unique or special for the influencer. So if the influencer is excited about it, that's key. So where you can make offers, obviously this is a margin question. There's a lot of factors here, but make it exclusive, make it incentivizing. Okay, so now you have your budget, you have your targets, you have your forecast. Now, who do we work with? How to find high value influencers. So there's a couple strategic and tactical things. The more you do this, the more you kind of develop an eye for it. But on the strategic side, a couple questions to ask. And obviously one of the most strategic things you can do is have an influencer network of high converting proven influencers that you've worked with in the past on certain verticals, whether that's health or home DIY, that align with the brand. These are influencers that have high trust, have past brand partnerships, and it's essentially a roster that you can go to that perform well. So that's like a long-term goal. But if you're just starting out doing your first campaign, you just want to ask questions like, does their content organically fit with the brand? A lot of these are obvious, but it's just worth kind of like asking them as you're looking and vetting influencers. Does their audience take purchasing advice from them? So they might have a ton of followers, they might have a lot of engagement, but their page is a comedy page or it's a meme page. Like, they're not following them for purchasing advice. They're not a perceived authority in a certain area. It's more for entertainment or comedy. That's something to consider. How does their audience engage with product promotions versus organic posts? So just look at a past promotion, see how they do it, right? Is it thoughtful? What do they write in the caption? Is it like, oh, they clearly just, got a check for this and they've probably never used this product. Like, does their audience ask questions about it? Does the influencer respond to the questions? Things like that to just gauge past promotions to see, will this be successful in the future? And then tactical. So we already went over this. Key metrics, ask for Instagram story views, ask for Instagram story clicks. And this is where you negotiate based on, not on followers, not even on engagement rates from posts, but traffic that you can expect this influencer to drive to the website. Number 2, they create a seamless customer journey for your customer. So this person treats their Instagram like a business, in the sense of they make it super easy for their audience to find links, to find promo codes. They regularly speak about brands and things they love. They have links and discounts as a highlight in their story that just signals, oh, they do this a lot. They prioritize this. They have a link in bio that maybe goes to a link tree that has all of their kind of sponsored codes. Things like that signal, oh, they've done this before. They know what they're doing. They know how to sell. That's important. And then, yeah, just look for consistency. That's pretty obvious, but important. Okay, so to finish, that's the strategy side. I guess it's worth saying too, with this is, it's good to create like an influencer profile persona. Meaning, so if you want to do outreach at scale, and let's say you want to go after, 3 certain like types of influencers, having, and you could basically build an influencer profile where it's like, here are the things we're looking for. Here's the follower count range. Not that that's what you're basing everything off of, but it's kind of a helpful guide based on your budget. And then provide 3 to 5 example accounts. And then you can pass that to a VA or a coordinator, and they can build from there. So now tactics, like you have all that set up. Now, okay, you want to launch the campaign, and we'll do this really quickly. And if you have questions on just real practical outbound copy questions or contract negotiation, feel free to drop it in the comments and we'll respond. But it's essentially, well, there's 12 steps broken down into 4. There's outreach, there's negotiation and contract, there's a content brief and links, and then there's posting, measuring, and optimizing. So for outreach, you can take 2 approaches. You could do outbound or you could do inbound. Outbound meaning you're reaching out to influencers. Inbound meaning they are applying for your campaign. So if you want to do inbound, there's plenty of good tools. I personally have used Aspire a lot. It's a marketplace. Essentially, you can launch a campaign as a brand, and then influencers on that platform can apply to work with you. The advantages of that are it puts you in a great position negotiating wise, because they're reaching out to you versus you reaching out to them. Oftentimes, if you have a great brand and a great product, you'll have more inbound than you can work with. And so that just gives you options. That's great for negotiating. The downsides to that are you're kind of limited to who applies. And obviously you can do outbound too, but inbound's kind of limited in that way. Outbound is obviously you reaching out to influencers. We like to use a tool called Sorrel. It's really great for list building. It has a lot of great features to build lookalike audiences, to filter by engagement, a lot of different things. Very easy and effective to build a massive outreach list. And then it allows you to create email drip campaigns to reach out to them. So obvious benefits of that, you can choose who you reach out to. The drawdowns to that are, because you're reaching out to them, they kind of start in the negotiating they have the leverage in the initial negotiation. However, you can easily overcome that. So that's outreach. Negotiation and contract, we went over this. You want to negotiate based off of your target, your goal, whether that's target ROAS, CPA, whatever that is. You want to negotiate from that place and based on link click data using the forecast. That's the place you negotiate from. Content brief and link. So once you have an agreement, we typically send content briefs to the influencers. The intention with that is not to control what they're posting or dictate what they're posting. It's to just provide helpful information for them as they are creating their content. We like to include example, hey, here's our top performing creative, whether that's from the ad account, whether that's from past influencer campaigns, whether that's specific angles or messaging. It just ends up being helpful for them. The more context, the better. I typically record a 2-3 minute Loom and just talk through the brief and send it to them. A lot of times they'll just watch the video. They actually find that really valuable. It's a personal touch point. And then when you launch your campaign, obviously it's posting, measuring, and optimizing. And so what you're doing with these paid campaigns is, you're looking for signal. You're looking for audience. Who's driving traffic? Where is their audience fit? And like we said in the beginning with the 4 different kind of levers to pull, it's your top performers. You could contract them again. You could kind of move them into more of a partnership. Your low performers, maybe you just move to an affiliate model. There's options, right? You don't have to just stay within the paid campaign. Some creators move to affiliate. Some move more into long-term contracts. Again, typically it's 20. If you work with 10 influencers in a campaign, 2 to 4 of them will drive 80% of the results. And so you take the learnings and then you optimize for the next campaign. Okay, the most important things, I think, in the 22 minutes we have been together is, one, with paid campaigns, walk before you run. Start small, look for signal. Don't do a paid campaign and spend $50,000 and do a bunch of TikToks and a bunch of reels, and there is no clear path to return on investment. There's no clear path to sales. Start small, test, look for signal, and then scale. Number 2, negotiate from the forecasted return, not the influencer rate sheet. So just because they say it's $2,000 for a story set does not mean that's where you live. The education process, the negotiating based on expected return, do that. And then 3, prioritize the excitement of influencers and the analytics. So a common objection to paid performance is, they don't care about your brand. You're just paying them to post. And that certainly can be true. But when you're in conversations with influencers or even their managers, you can tell when they are bought into the brand or at least excited about the brand. Every time, this typically happens, you end up overpaying for big macro influencers that you think are going to be amazing, and turns out they don't really care about the brand. And the times I've done this, I could feel that when I was talking to them. There was no real engagement. There was no real excitement. It was essentially, you got your rate sheet, and then it's we need payment, within 2 days of posting. And it's in your gut, you don't really care, but you do it anyway, and you end up wasting money. So I think prioritize the influencers that want to work with you, that understand return on investment, that genuinely like the product. So even with, a good way to start a performance campaign would be to product seed. And then with an intentional follow-up process to understand who actually loves the product. And then maybe you take those people and they go, hey, we'd love to build a paid campaign with you. Here's what that would look like. And so even with a paid performance campaign, you can tell, and you kind of learn it over time, who's excited for the campaign, even if they are getting paid to do the job. And so I would just say prioritize that. If you feel like they don't care, they definitely don't, and you shouldn't work with them. Okay, that's it. I hope that was helpful. Again, if you have any questions, want to go deeper on something, want to get super tactical or practical with anything that was shared, just leave a comment, send me a DM, whatever. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.